Hi there. Yep, this is 30-day yoga with Lisa. And this is Lisa. Welcome. Welcome out there. Today's a special practice. It's going to be yoga for riders. And if you're not a rider, please stay in. Please stay tuned. You might learn something that you never expected. And if you are a rider, thanks for being here. For those of you that know me, I've been riding horses pretty much all my life. Horses are pretty much my identity. They're just who I am. That's all there is to it. So the deeper I got into yoga, the better my riding got, the more in tune I was to my horses. So I want to involve some of my horse people that haven't done yoga, and some of my yoga people maybe that haven't done horses. Maybe you'll want to do this too. Yoga is yoked. Being yoked, you yoke your mind, your body, and your spirit. Yoga is an opportunity to have a better relationship with yourself, to get to know yourself. And if you have a better relationship with yourself, then you can have a better relationship with other people and even your horses. So we all know how it feels when we go to the barn and you might be having a bad day, and your horses certainly recognize this. So being in tune, connecting with your horse, sometimes you just have to pause for a moment. The best meditation I get is on my horse. The best time I feel good is on my horse. So I'm going to show you today a few opportunities to get your body more in tune and more ready to ride. I've had horses since I was 14. I got my first horse. I was lucky enough, my parents bought me Smokey. It was a little horse, and my parents, I think, thought that was going to appease her. Wrong. I've had horses all my life, and most of my friends are horse people. And hopefully some of you all are tuning in, so glad to have you. I've ridden Western most of my life, and this spring during COVID, I did what a lot of people did and took it as an opportunity to learn something different. I took a few dressage classes in college, but I decided to take dressage this spring, and whew, that's a lot different. Dressage and Western are very, very different. Both are in tune to your horse, but dressage is a lot more core and a lot more mindfulness. So that's what you need to ride a horse, is mindfulness. That horse knows when you're distracted. I have a friend of mine that her horse didn't like it when she drank on her horse. He knew that, and I think because they knew that you're distracted. That's all that was. So during my course in the summer in dressage, I had a lot of really good teachers, one of which, hi Mary, one of which was Shannon. And Shannon, I hope you tune in. Shannon is also a yoga instructor, and she gave me some wonderful pointers for that. I also met a lot of other people out there at the barn, and they shared this book with me. This is pretty much the Bible for dressage horses, Centered Riding by Sally Swift. She's been teaching riding for many, many years, and eventually someone encouraged her to write down the things she knows. And the book starts out with her 4 basics, and the first basic is the eyes. Certainly using your eyes to tell your horse where to go, to look out for danger, to prepare your horse for that ride. The second is breathing, and we start all yoga classes with the breath, with pranayama. Deep inhale, deep exhale. If you're ever anxious, you're ever having a bad day, you just want to pause for a moment and collect yourself before you overreact, breathe. Inhale, exhale. Thirdly is centering, and we all know about collecting our horse. You center, you bring everything in, you collect it, you control it. We center with our breath, and we center with that exercise that I taught you a couple weeks ago rather, about collecting your own core, using your 3 chakras, your heart chakra, expanding your heart, using your core, your solar plexus, to tuck in your lower ribs, to tilt them back, and then your sacral chakra, taking your sacrum, the top of your sacrum, and tucking it back. And when you engage all of that, you have a nice firm upper body to keep you centered in riding. The 4th on her list is building blocks. And she's got a nice little direction in here about building blocks, a nice little diagram rather, where you want to keep the alignment of your shoulders, your hips, and sometimes your heels involved. So you want that to be a nice straight line. So having a strong core is going to help you do that. In life, we want to be subtle and we want to be strong, or at least I do. And we want to be a subtle and strong rider as well. So some parts of our body need to be subtle and flexible, and others need to be strong. I believe in riding, we want to have strong arms, strong thighs, and a strong core. We also want to be subtle or have a lot of flexibility within our calves, especially Western riding, because we want those heels down, toes up. And in English riding, we need to have flexibility in our hip flexors. So our hip flexors, so our knees can go down. So today's class is going to center on strengthening our core and our thighs and a little bit of our arms, and we want to provide flexibility with our hip flexors and our calves. That's the plan. Thanks for joining me. Let's start in a comfortable position as always. We're going to take Sukhasana. Sukhasana is easy seat, so whatever is easy for you to sit down, please do so. You want your hips rooted within the earth, and you want, just like Miss Sally Swift says, we want to be our building blocks nice and straight, and we want to be centered. So think about it. Your shoulders go over your hips. Your core naturally adjusts to that, but if you continue to strengthen your core, you're going to have a lot better seat, a lot better riding seat. So as we do, I want you to just join me with a couple of breaths. As you take a deep inhale through your nose, you're giving oxygen and nourishment to your body. Hold that breath and exhale, letting out all that stress. I hope you're doing this with me. Take a deep breath in, filling your lungs from the bottom to the top. As you hold that breath, you're expanding your chest and opening up your heart. Exhale, blowing out all that doesn't serve you. Inhale and exhale. Let's take a deep breath in and lift our arms nice and long. Tuck in your core, lift, exhale down. Let's inhale, let's round our shoulders, take that stress out of our shoulders. You want your shoulders nice and aligned while you ride. We don't want that hunched over the saddle. We want it nice and aligned. So roll your shoulders here. Maybe one and then the other. And take a deep breath in and exhale down. Take your fingers behind you, pointing your fingers away from your hip. Take a breath in and open up your heart. Exhale, curl your belly to your spine and just round your back. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, filling your lungs, nourishing your body, opening up your heart. Exhale, round your back, push that air out. Let's take our arms nice and long, and we're going to bring one shoulder in as we twist. Come back straight and bring the other shoulder in and twist. Come back straight. And as you do this, your attention might be drawn to your shoulders, but I want you to attend to your core as you sit up nice and straight. As always, energy flows to where attention goes, or something like that. So let's just move our shoulders, move our neck, take all those kinks out of your neck. As you round one shoulder forward, the head goes away. The other shoulder forward, the head goes away. Building up a little bit of heat. And take your arms up nice and high. Go ahead and lace your fingers, send your arms up towards, hands up towards the ceiling and lift, tucking in your core. Let's root down that left hip and take it to the right. And look up. One more time, breath in and breath out. And come back to center. One more deep breath in, widening and lengthening your upper body. Exhale, lengthening your back body. We're all warmed up. That's a good thing to do before you even get in the saddle. Let's go ahead and take it to tabletop. Gonna come onto our hands and knees. Keeping in mind that centering, so our hip is right above our knees, our shoulders are right above our hands, our back is nice and straight, our core is engaged. Take a deep breath in and let's come into a cow, starting with your tailbone, lifting your chin. Exhale, tuck that tailbone in, round your back, and last one to go is your chin toward your chest. And breath in, and breath out. One more, nice deep breath. And exhale, let it out. We're going to take our left knee stays on the mat, the right toes go to the mat. We're going to give a mild, gentle stretch to our calf. Go ahead and tuck your heel away from you. Press that left knee into the mat and stretch. And as you press your right foot into the mat, this time we're going to lift our left knee and bring it into your chest. You're pressing your hands into your mat. You're strengthening your shoulders, strengthening your core. Let's drop that left knee, lift up the right leg. You can't see it, but my little ankle is twirling around. And drop that right foot. Bring that left knee into your chest. Using your breath, dropping that left knee, take a deep breath in as you expand. Exhale, drop that right knee, bring that left knee into your chest. We'll do this a few more times. Left knee lands, right leg lifts. Right foot lands, left knee lifts. One more time, bring it in and drop it. We're going to go ahead and find some flexibility in our hips so our left knee stays on the mat as we bring our right knee in, and we're just going to make some big circles with our right knee. Your big circles might be small, your circles might be kinked, but this is a good opportunity to, number one, get to know your body, and number two, increase your flexibility. So we're going to take that opposite direction and drop it back down. Go ahead and drop your both knees to the mat. Go ahead and widen your knees and sit your hips to your heels. This is child. Go ahead and walk your hands forward. You're going to strengthen and lengthen your shoulders. Let your chest fall towards the floor. You might not be getting here. Wherever you go, make this your benchmark. Make this kind of the starting point. And there's always a goal in mind. And keep in mind too that every day is different. Okay? So we're going to come to the other side. So hands press into the mat, left toes join the mat, and you kind of tank your left heel back behind you. Remember to engage your core. Let your heel go behind you. And breathe. Just a word about the breath here. When you listen and watch a horse canter, when they extend their front legs, they're taking a deep breath. That's how they breathe. They're breathing in as they inhale. When those hooves pound the mat and they draw their front feet towards their back feet, it's just what we do is we're pressing that air out. So if you watch a horse canter, that's their breath as well. Inhaling and exhaling. Okay, had to mention that. Left toes are on the mat. Take your left heel behind you. Press your hands into the mat. This time we're going to lift our right knee off the mat. Tuck it in. Hold it. Press your hands into the mat. Get a little strength in that upper body. Drop that right knee. Lift that left leg. Drop the left toes. Lift the right knee. Pressing all your air out. As you drop that right knee, you're going to take a big breath in. Lift that left heel. Exhale. Drop the toes. Lift the knee. Exhale. Inhale, drop the knee, lift the leg. One more time. Exhale, drop the toes, stretch the calves while you're there, and then lift that right knee. Let's let that right knee land, and we're going to see what it feels like in that left hip. So we're just going to make some big circles with our knee. Take it in one direction. Know that that's a ball and socket joint. So again, this is part of the body awareness, is going inward, thinking about your hip joint, thinking about that ball and socket joint, rotating 360 degrees. Going to take it the opposite direction. And let's go ahead and drop our knees and come into child. One more time. And let's come on up. Go ahead and bring your right foot forward. As your right foot is forward, that left knee now goes back just a little bit beyond the 90, the straight leg, maybe about 20 degrees back. And as you take a deep breath in, send your left hip forward. As you exhale, press that right knee into the mat and send your right hip back. So again, you're getting a stretch of the back of that right leg. Breath in, left hip comes forward. We're stretching that hip flexor. And those of you who do dressage, we know that those legs need to be nice and straight, and they are if your hip flexor is nice and flexible. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, bring it back. So as you're here, I want you to think about your hips. Think about that right hip alongside the left hip. You're gonna bring your toes up, lift out of your hips, back nice and straight. Go ahead and just take your fingers to your toes, just to help you kind of gauge where you are. Lift out of your hips. As those toes are pointed up towards the ceiling, your chin is going toward your toes. It's a gentle stretch. Be kind to your body as always. And let's come back. We're gonna go ahead and lift up into a lunge. So that right foot still plants, lift your left knee off the mat. This is an intermediate pose. If you all are having trouble, keep that left knee on the mat there. But those of you that wanna try, please lift that left knee off the mat. Gonna come up just to balance on that right knee. And if you can, come all the way up. Feel it in your right calf. Breathe, breathe. Maybe send that right hip back just a little bit so it's alongside the left. Hands to heart center. I'm just gonna do 3 of these. We're gonna just gently let that left knee go to the mat. Bring it up. Left knee drops. Bring it up. And we're coming in for a third. And bring it up. Go ahead and take your hands to the mat. Bring that knee back and you're back into table. Let's take a child from here, and you know we gotta do the other side. So this time we're gonna bring our left foot forward. Left knee's right above the ankle, right knee comes back just a little bit. As we take a breath in, we're sending our right hip forward, stretching kindly and lengthening that hip flexor. As you exhale, press your left foot back and straighten out that left leg. So a lot of people think the goal here is to straighten out that left leg. Eventually it is, but it might take quite a bit of time. The goal is to send your left hip back. And as you take that left hip back and find flexibility in that left hip, you will eventually straighten out that left leg. Breath in, right hip comes forward. Exhale, left hip comes back. Just like a locomotion, breathing in to lengthen. Exhaling, pushing that air out. Let's go ahead and lift those left toes up. Again, just touch those fingers to the toes. Take a breath in and lift up out of your hips, feeling that stretch a little bit on the back of that leg. Exhale, chin toward the toes. We're gonna come back to center. We're gonna rise up out of our mat. Lift your arms up. Go ahead and lengthen, tuck that tailbone down. Really use that core to tuck those lower ribs back and the top of the sacrum back too, to engage that whole core. Lift, lift, lift. Hands to heart center. We're gonna curl our right toes under, and we're gonna come into a lunge. So we've got a little bit of stretch in that right calf. Come on up to catch your balance if you can. If you want to keep that right knee on the mat, your practice. Hands to heart center. Feel that in your left calf, or your left thigh. Gotta get up on that horse. Get up, mount with our left foot. That's the leg that needs to be nice and strong. Let's go ahead and dip it down for 1. Lift up, and 2, and 3. Let's drop our hands to the mat, knees to the mat, and come into child one more time. So I think we've worked on our thighs here. I could go on and on, but I'm running out of time. So I do want to work on our core a little bit. So let's go ahead and come onto the back. And sit your hips down, roll all the way back. Good time to check in with your hips. Maybe move them around a little bit. Think about when you're in the saddle. You want your hips to be nice and flexible. If you're just sitting on that horse and you're not moving, you need to be flexing with the horse. So you need to be nice and flexible with the hips. Let's go ahead and bring our knees up right above our hips. As you do that, you'll notice that your back flattens and you can feel your lower back on the mat there. Go ahead and bring your knees into the chest. This is called Apanasana. It's a real wonderful pose to stretch your back. We're going to bring our knees right above. Let's take our hands to the outside of our knees. Just give a gauge on how strong you feel like those thighs are, those abductors. Can you press your knees into your hands into your knees? So it's good on your arms. You're getting a little bit of workout on your arms. You're getting a little bit of workout on your thighs. Breathe, tuck that core in. And take your hands on the insides and press your knees in towards it. And one more. Hands to the outside, press your knees into your hands. And bring your hands on the inside. Try to bring your knees out as you press your knees in. And knees into the chest. Let's go ahead and lift our feet nice and high. You're going to bring your heels towards the ceiling, your toes towards your nose. Another opportunity for your calves to stretch. Take your arms behind you. And we're going to go ahead and just do a little bit of a sit-up as you breathe in. Lift your upper back to your lower back and bring your hands to your toes and roll back down. Exhale as you press up. Inhale as you lengthen. Let's do 3 more. Pressing the air out, lifting up. And your last one. Go ahead and bring your knees into your chest for Apanasana. Gonna keep that right knee into your chest, your left leg goes long. Go ahead and take your foot up towards the ceiling so it's parallel to the ceiling, and can you reach around with that right hand and grab your foot? Keeping that left leg engaged nice and long, let's take that right knee off to the side. Being kind and gentle here, don't force anything, but just like gravity and your hand, have an opportunity to just increase that flexibility just a little bit there. And if you can, send your foot up towards the ceiling and bring it back down. Left leg is still engaged. And bring it all the way up. Let's roll our ankles around. Maybe bring your knees into the chest. This time we'll do the other side. Both legs come up. Right leg stays up. Bring that left knee into your chest. Both hips are on the mat. Reach around with on the outside of your foot and grab your left foot. Go ahead and bring it in. That's my dog wanting to come out. Bring your knee to the floor. Use the weight of your right side body to keep it on the mat and lift up and lift back. This is a half happy baby. Let's bring it into a full happy baby. Both feet come into the chest. Your feet are parallel to the floor. And again, kindness matters, but as you press your feet into your hands and your hands press your feet towards the floor, your knees towards the floor, you get a real sense of opening up your hips. Happy baby. Let's go ahead and let go. Sit your feet up, and we're going to finish this practice just for today, but we're going to do one more thing here. So let's lower our feet towards the mat, using your core to press your spine towards the mat as you engage your core. Keep it nice and low, keep it nice and low. And normally we would land in Shavasana, but I've got one more little exercise to give you. Take your fingers to your hips and just see about where they're aligned. And then I want you to take your right leg and make it long, or in other words, take your right hip all the way back, down, and then bring your right hip to join side by side your left. And let's do it to the other side. Just take your left leg, grow it as you press your left hip down towards the bottom of the mat. This is just an opportunity for you to get a little bit of movement in that hip. You might think, there's nothing moving, but if you keep working at it, you'll get some flexibility and your horse will appreciate it. This has been super fun. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great ride. We usually finish our yoga practice with a greeting, namaste. Bring our hands together, join them at the heart. The light in me honors and respects the light in you. Namaste. Happy trails.